Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and today we're going to be running through the presser ahead of the Leeds game on Friday at 8 p.m. So, without further ado, let's get started. We've got a lot to discuss. Yes, West Ham Network. So it is time for us to talk through the press conference ahead of Leeds versus West Ham United. This is no doubt going to be a huge game, with Nuno looking to show any signs of improvement and continue his mission to pick up some points and turn some things around, even if this is against all odds as things stand currently. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything that's been said in the presser, so make sure you get involved down below in that comment section. Give a thumbs up to the people that you agree with. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up as well. And of course, make sure you subscribe to West Ham Network. So let's get straight into it. Here is what Nuno had to say. We've got the different slides with each of the things to talk about. Like I said, there's a lot to discuss. So talking about his time so far, he said we still have problems and we didn't play well enough on Monday. We have to improve, and that has to come from the players in terms of their own games. And then as a team, we have to get better too. I was frustrated on Monday because I thought we started well. Then we weren't able to sustain that, so I was disappointed. There are many factors and reasons for that. Brentford adjusted well and gave us problems, and then we rushed and showed anxiety. Now, there's quite a lot to unpack within that. The first 3 to 5 minutes, I was excited by, touching on what he said, that they started well. It was a very brief bit of the match in hindsight, but it felt more positive. We ran straight at them. We tried to basically break and get a goal straight away. And I was really happy with that. And then the other 85 minutes came where we just didn't do anything. And Nuno's talking here about how it's not only on strategy and how you approach a game, which we're also going to touch on that, because obviously squad selection and where you're playing players is going to play a huge part in how successful players are. But it also relies on the players doing the basics well, which is something that we've not been doing for a very, very long time. First touches, chasing the ball down, winning headers is very simple. The stuff that I would get a bollocking for in my Sunday league if I wasn't doing. We need the players to be doing that. And I think that's also going to play a major part in the coming games, because if we're not doing the basics, winning tackles, getting back in time, getting goal side, simple things, there's only so much that a head coach can do, I suppose, from the sideline if you go into that game and don't perform well. However, there is a lot that also needs to be doing as a team to get better. Like he said, there's so much work to be done. So in terms of team news, Dinos is injured. He came off and he now has a scan to see the injury he has. I don't know exactly how long he'll be out, but he'll be missing on Friday. So we're going to have an absent Dinos, which is going to ask the question of who comes in his place. So I want to hear your thoughts. Make sure you comment below on that as well. Who should be taking Dinos's place? Which centre-back pairing should we be using? How should we set up for this game, given that Dinos is injured? And does it change anything in your opinion? Now, home form is there to see. We can't hide it. And as someone who has a season ticket, I can confirm it has been horrible. Every game, I honestly can't remember the last time I was excited during a game, because there's just been so many negatives, to the point where even when we can score a goal, you're just terrified that we're going to concede any second after it. So Nuno's talking here about how it is up to them to change things and to make sure that the fans go to the stadium and see something they enjoy. And as a fan who sometimes goes to the stadium, I would like to see things that I enjoy, so I'm here for that. He felt the players were rushing their decisions. I see them every day. I know how good they are. We need the players to play their game. It's a long-term problem and we need to solve it. We move on to Leeds now and we'll try to improve. Now, what this suggests is that we're playing one way in training, and then we get into the game, we panic, we lose our heads, lose what we were supposed to be doing, and we just don't perform well. And I think that is what we're seeing, because we know we've got players with the ability to pass, to win a ball, to outpace someone, to play an accurate long ball, to do a good corner, to beat the first man, all these things, to get up in the air and beat someone aerially, like defensively. We have some of the same players that have managed to do this before. And at the moment, we're just not doing it. And I think that says a lot, because again, we're absolutely panicking on the ball and not doing well enough. So that is another point that came from this press conference. Style of play, we're not getting enough points. To do that, we must improve our game, whether it's at home, away, or in training. We can always improve. Now, kind of goes without saying, we know that we can improve. We know that we need to improve. And there's no two ways around it now. Improving is the only way to stay in the Premier League. So it needs to happen, and we need to be able to grind out points, regardless, even when you have a bad game and you're like, oh, we fluked that. We got 1 point, we got 3 points. We need to be able to do that day in, day out now. We need to start having things going our way, but it's not just luck that makes things go your way. It has to be a decent level of performance. So we need to ramp that up. He was talking about substitutions. So he said it was 3 at half time, but it could have been 5. I think this is a lot about how bad that performance was overall. Something that started off good for the first few minutes. I'm not even sure what changed, but it was horrific from basically that point onwards. He said again, we started well, we didn't do enough, we didn't achieve what we wanted. Obviously, what we wanted was to play well, control the game, hold the ball, all these things that we weren't doing. And touching on this, I don't think Nuno is afraid to make rash decisions, whether this is choosing players that we would be like, what on earth are you doing? Let me know your thoughts again, obviously, on team selection and where we were playing people in the game. But it's interesting to see that he's not afraid to mix things up. And I, in a way, like that, because I think if you're not performing and training and working as hard as humanly possible, he is willing to drop you and everyone is replaceable. However, it was slightly odd, the lineup, in terms of what we were intending to do with that, and playing Souček and Irving when we know we need pace. There were so many question marks over what Nuno was trying to achieve, or I suppose the reasons that he actually made those decisions. And I would love to know, I would love to know the thought process, what he saw perhaps in training that made him think that that would be better than what we could have done. But I also think he's going to have looked at this game and gone, okay, that hasn't worked, surely. So yeah, an interesting one. Callum Wilson working well. All the players are. It's up to us to make decisions, and we'll do that again on Friday. So again, it's all coming back to those decisions. I feel like nothing's set in stone, and I also feel like Nuno is happy to pull the plug quite early on a player and try something different. We saw what he did with Ward-Prowse when he didn't rate him before. He just went, nope, you're not in my plans. And I think he would be equally as brutal in terms of squad selection and decisions. Jean-Claire Todibo is out for a couple of weeks and is back now. As long as the players are available, they're all options to us. Us in the building must solve our problems. So he's coming back again to how it's on them now to solve this. And I like that. I like that accountability between Nuno and the players to go, this is up to us to get ourselves out of this situation now, because no one's coming to save us. It's got to be us that do this. And I think a lot of the players that we've got on our team have probably been a little relaxed or lackluster and assumed that we'll always stay up and that they can do enough to do well enough. But it's almost as though multiple years of just not performing well enough, perhaps overperforming at times based on the players we've got, the structure and tactics that we've been employing. We've been doing better than we should have, and now it's caught up with us, and these players need to put in a shift to fix things and to keep us in the Premier League. We love West Ham so much, and it's horrible that we're discussing this stuff, but I think Nuno's being realistic here, and he's talking about how obviously these problems are there to be solved. Todibo, I believe the relationship between centre halves is really important. Whoever plays, that's really important. We've spoken a lot about different pairings and players linking up, which is something that we've not been doing very well. So it's going to be interesting to see what we choose to do in terms of Todibo. Mentality, we've got to realise what our main objectives are. First, tactical things, also togetherness, unity and bond. Now, I think, personally, if we go in with decent tactics in terms of how we approach a game based on the opposition, and we can stick to that plan when we get on the pitch, which I think is probably one of our bigger problems at the moment. If you've got that togetherness, unity and bond, and you just no-nonsense approach, win the first ball, win the second ball, I can't see how we would be performing as badly as we have been. My hope is that we can start to at least be a team that is difficult to deal with. In the years gone, we've had the approach where we play on the break. We've had the approach with Big Sam where you're launching the ball up, but we haven't had really like how we play. No one really knows right now because nothing seems to be really working. We must translate the frustration from Monday into being better on Friday. And that is exactly it. Players must be frustrated. Fans are frustrated. We've got to use this as fuel to the fire for us to absolutely fight now for every single point, because we have players that are too good to be performing so badly, and they all need to look at themselves, and everyone in the club really needs to look at themselves in terms of how have we got to this point? What is it that's going so wrong? And we know it's an uphill battle. When confidence goes, people get nervous, you play more negatively, perhaps you panic on the ball, like we're saying, and you're not doing the things that you've been practicing in training. But it's almost, we've got to just reinstate that belief and give it a go, because right now there is nothing to lose. It can't really get much worse. So we need to just go in there with a positive mindset, I think, next game, and make stuff happen, because otherwise it's not going to happen for us, is it? In terms of improvements, firstly, individually, we have to improve the players. We've conceded too many set pieces. Hallelujah. There's no two ways around that. We are atrocious from set pieces, which surprises me because we don't have a short defense. Like, we have players that we've seen get up and do well. And in my opinion, I think the problem that we've got in terms of set pieces is, first of all, we're not getting to the ball first, but we just feel like we're not on our toes enough. The other team always seem to want to get on the end of that ball more than us. And then, lo and behold, the ball goes up in the air. We're not even expecting it to come back down again. And we're not goal side of them. We're not even challenging. We're a metre away from them, giving them free headers into the goal. And again, this is how these set pieces keep leading to us conceding goals. He said we're improving in how we defend them. We have to really improve on conceding goals. And it's exactly that. Easy goals, things that you should be able to defend against. As Premier League defenders, even strikers should be able to get in there and stop some of the goals happening that are happening. We need to have that switched on mentality and that fight till the last second kind of approach, because otherwise, I can't really see how we turn it around in terms of that. But Nuno said, we are working hard on the training ground, repeating, and then we need to convert that into games. We have to find a balance. It's hard, but we're positive we can achieve this. So again, he's bringing up the fact that it sounds like we do one thing in training and then we panic in a game and don't go and do that on the pitch. I'd be very interested to see what lineup we start with against Leeds. It's going to be a big question mark over whether Nuno looked at what happened against Brentford and said, okay, that was a trial and it hasn't worked, or whether he's going to stick to parts of it and try and make that work. But again, let us know your thoughts down below in terms of what you would do team selection wise, who you would bring in to make a positive impact based on what we did against Brentford. Paqueta has great ability. We have to improve Lucas to get the best out of him. I think we have the pieces to get the best out of him. So let's try and find solutions so that he can deliver all the things he had. We know that he plays well in a creative free role where he has that ability to go where he needs to go and to bring other players into it. And in turn, it makes us less predictable. So that's something that we could definitely do a little bit more with as the season goes on. Bowen, Jared can deliver, but we are not expecting only him to score. With goals in the team that can help win matches, for example, our centre-halves from set pieces. We're looking at things as a team the same as with Lucas Paqueta. And this is right. I think we're lucky in that we've had players like Bowen get us goals in recent seasons, and a large number of goals, which for technically a winger, you don't expect someone in that position to be saving you or to perhaps be your top goal scorer or any of these things. So you can't, when that dries up a little bit, you can't really be frustrated, because strikers are the ones that are supposed to score the goals, most of the goals anyway. But we are lucky that we've got multiple players that we know can and have previously scored goals. But like Nuno said, it's not all up to one player, one predictable approach, one target man that we're trying to get the ball to. We need to muck in here and make this work as a team where everyone is just trying to get that ball into that net, because we can do a lot. We can, like he said, we could score from set pieces. We're so bad at set pieces at the moment, but set pieces are so valuable, a massively valuable part of anyone's game. So we need to be getting on the end of corners. We've got players that, for example, if we're playing players like Souček, like we did against Brentford, players like him that can get on the end of a set piece, but we weren't able to even utilise that when we had him on the pitch. So there's so much that we can do in terms of who can score and how they can score, but it needs to come from a point of linking together, in my opinion, because at the moment there is no linking up. Like, we are not good enough. We can't string a few passes together. We can't make it a positive phase of attack. We can't really do much very well at the moment. And I think that's what's scary for me as a fan. What is scaring me is that we're not doing anything very well. We've had times where we were frustrated under Moyes because times where we were saying, look, we only score on the break. And we were annoyed about that because we wanted to score from open play. We wanted to score from a little bit more possession-based game. But you could say what we did well there. And at the moment, we just don't even have that. So there's a lot of work to be done. But hopefully things start clicking. We need something to click. And I'm sure that something will. I'm just a bit scared right now because I'm not seeing it. Oh, sorry, the background's disappeared there. But as a team, we've conceded the goals this season. We have to make the right decision for the teams, but all the positions in the team are up for competition. And finally, a look to Leeds. And Nuno is correct here. I don't think anyone will be doubting this. It's going to be a very tough game. They're a good team and it's going to be a tough environment. At least we don't have a home advantage, so going away doesn't really need to bring that much more of a negative spin, I suppose. I really hope that this is the game that we start to see something positive, whether that's luck more than skill, whatever it is. I just want to start seeing something where we go, oh, that looks a bit better than it did. I have faith that Nuno is going to be good for us. We know he's a very good head coach. And I know that things are so doom and gloom at the moment, but personally, I'm refusing to give up. I think Nuno has managed to turn negative situations around before. It's very early days under him. And as we know, it's a lot of effort to get the most out of the players that we have. And hopefully we can then strengthen a lot in January and start to turn things around. But we need to not be too far adrift by the time January comes. Anyway, this has been your presser for today. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts because I know there's so much frustration every single angle you look, from how we're playing, who we played, where we played them, the fact that we know we've got such a big job on our hands and that we've not seen a new manager bounce, I suppose. All of these different bits that play into us being very worried because we're not even picking up the odd point at the moment, really. But it's a massive game. This is a huge, huge game because we need to see things turning around somehow sooner rather than later. All the accountability is on Nuno and the players right now to fix that and to get us out of this mess. Nuno sounds confident. I believe that Nuno is the right guy to try and turn things around. Whether or not he can work with the tools he has, we're yet to see. But these players are too good to be performing in the way that they are. And I hope that they realise that and it gives them a kick up the arse that they need to fix things themselves as well. And all we can do in the meantime is keep working hard, really. So that's been your presser. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Up next, we've got Leeds away at 8 p.m. on Friday night. Hopefully, it can be a more positive start to the weekend. And yeah, here's hoping that this could be the start of us performing unexpectedly well, shall we say. So if you haven't already, leave a comment, get involved in that conversation. Give everyone a little thumbs up with the comments that you agree with. Let's get the West Ham Network chatting. If you haven't already, please like the video. Make sure you subscribe to West Ham Network so you never have to miss another video. And until next time, that's all from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully better times are coming and we can be a little bit happier at West Ham Network. But until then, I'm here to deliver the rubbish news in a positive fashion. Catch up with you soon. Till next time, come on you irons. Irons.